What's poppin', family? And welcome to day one of the Lionheart Challenge. I'm your boy Lionheart Chris. You probably already know my face by now. But in this video, we're going to be talking about how to turn nothing into something. And I felt like this would be fitting because day number one of anything that you do is always a little bit uncertain. You know, you have this weird optimism because you feel like you can achieve it, but you haven't necessarily dived into everything it's going to take to achieve your goal. And I want to begin this presentation by first acknowledging the fact that all of our desires, all of our goals, they come from somewhere. Whether you believe in God, whether you believe in the universe, spirituality, or just yourself, you have a desire, and a desire comes from someplace, right? You didn't just fucking, I don't know, like stumble upon it. It came from something. So how do we turn these desires into tangible realities? That's what this is all about. And it applies to fitness because you can quite literally craft your physique, your body, with just an idea. So in this video, I'm going to break down a 4-step process to achieving any goal that you want. This information, you can take it and you can apply it to quite literally anything. I'll leave a PDF of this document for you if you want to like hold on to it and just review it anytime in the future. So you can click it and do your thing with it. But let's get this thing going. So to get started, I want to talk specifically about what goals are. And goals are any outcome that we want for ourselves. It's pretty obvious, right? So because we're in the Lionheart Fitness Challenge, we're going to use fitness-related goals. My goal is to lose 25 pounds in 60 days or less. Common goal. Okay. The problem with goal setting a lot of times is that once you do accomplish the goal, I mean, we're not going to talk about the fact that we don't accomplish 90% of the goals we set. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But once you do accomplish a goal, the only thing left to do is to freaking set another one. And it becomes this endless means to an end, constantly chasing your tail because, you know, once you win once, what you gonna do? Sit on that win for the rest of your life? Hell no. You got to set another goal, another thing to chase. And if it's one thing that we are not, is we're not chasers, we attract. So that's my issue with goals, is they're pretty counterproductive most of the time. You know, like, and naturally our mind is a little bit farther along than our reality is. So we often set goals that we're not willing to or ready to accomplish. You know, maybe you're wishing to be a millionaire, but you haven't even built a level of consistency within yourself to review your goals every morning, but you want to make $1 million. You feel me? You get where I'm going with this? Or back to the fitness thing, you want to lose that 25 pounds, but you can't stop eating hot Cheetos and you got Cheeto dust in your belly button. You know? Like, you really don't want to lose the weight. Like, you have the desire, but everyone has a desire. But who really wants it? That's the people that are out here achieving the goals. So you get a lot of surface level friction and frustration when you're setting goals because of that. Because in order to achieve a goal, you have to actually become someone that you have never been before. You have to add new wrinkles to your game. It's not only about exercising every day and eating healthy. Like, no, that shit comes with a mindset shift. If you're going to be eating healthy, that means that most 9 out of 10, you don't even put yourself in positions to eat the hot Cheetos and have the Cheeto dust in your belly buttons. You're not even getting that from the grocery store. You feel me? So it really starts on an internal basis. And I'm going to keep on referring to tomorrow's video call because we're going to talk about identity-based habits. We're going to like really dive deep into how to set and create identity-based habits. But back to this, like that's why you're going through all of the friction and confusion because you haven't changed yourself fundamentally. And goals are great as a North Star. Shout out Black people. They're great for looking at the direction that you want to go in, right? But if you remain fixated on a goal, then you're going to step over everything in between the goal and where you are. You know, like, and that's not what you want. That's kind of like me giving you directions to, I don't know, from Chicago to Los Angeles, California, and I'm giving you the beginning and I'm giving you the end. And I'm saying just go in that direction. Just go there and you're gonna get there. Like, no, you have to actually know the content. You gotta know if you gotta bang a left here, stay straight, veer right. You have to know the contents of, what's gonna get you to the goal. The goal is just a North Star. And that's why it's important that we take whatever our desires are and we magnify them. Because quite frankly, the goal, it doesn't matter as much as the identity that you're creating. The identity is really what matters most. So with that being said, let's break down this 4-step process. We're going to break down a 4-step process to achieving any goal that you want. And then tomorrow we're going to look at identity-based habits. Step number 1 is to imagine the goal is possible. And I know it sounds like duh, but a lot of people don't do this. We tend to think about our goals optimally, like, oh my God, it'd be so dope if I had XYZ. And then we leave it at that. But we don't look at what surrounds or what comes with having that goal. So we haven't really imagined the possibility. We've almost fantasized over it. Like, we lust over our goals more so than we, immerse ourselves in them. We just lust over them. So a challenge for you is to list out 5 people that are already doing what you want to do. And if it's, losing that 25 pounds, who do you know that's lost weight? And if you don't know anyone that's lost that type of weight, take your tail on Instagram or Facebook and find them. Find them and study them. Follow them. You know what I'm saying? Like, let their thinking, let what they've done inspire you, because everything is energy. Albert Einstein said it. Everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. So you can literally learn from a person just by watching their journey. Hit them up. Oh my God, yo, I saw you lost 25 pounds. Like, what was the hardest part for you? Like, what did it do for you internally? Reach out to these people. And then define what your version of the goal looks like, because you're you. You are the only person that has your DNA. So, like, define that shit. Make sure you're taking the pen to the paper, and really considering what it's going to look and feel like. Don't just lust over it. Actually romanticize it. Look at it from different angles. And last but not least, with step 1 is decide who you need to become on a day-to-day to make it real. This is what we're going to really break down tomorrow. Step number 2 is you got to believe that it's possible. And believing that it's possible means that you are weighing the pros and the cons, right? Because if you don't weigh the pros and the cons, you're going to get smacked across the face. And there's this graph. I wish I had my book with me to show you the graph, but it basically talks about when you first have a desire, you have this optimism. You're hype. You want that shit. But you figure out it's going to be a lot harder than you thought. You're going to have to put the hot Cheetos down. No more Cheeto dust. And this is what you call the valley of despair. So, like, you drop down low and it's like, Lee, like, I don't really want this shit because I didn't know that it was going to take that. So what you should do to get ahead of that curve is write out 3 reasons you think you can't reach the goal or won't be able to reach the goal, and then write a counter argument for each one. The counter argument is going to highlight your strengths. And the counter argument is really where you need to, like, focus your energy at, because when you're faced with any sort of adversity, you're going to remember, like, nah, I'm actually him or her. And next is create a small win right now. Pick an action that's tied to your goal and just do it today. If you want some abs, do 30 crunches. All right? Because at least you started. And so many people don't even get started. You know what I'm saying? Like, or they might do some half-ass shit. They might say, oh, I want the abs, and they're going to do the 30 crunches. And then they're going to follow it up with what? Hot Cheetos. Cheeto dust in the belly button. Motherfucker. I got a potty mouth, y'all. But that's how people think. And they think, oh, I'm a work in progress. And it's like, we all are works in progress, but we got to make sure we're progressing in the right direction. And if you're going to put your energy into anything, you might as well go all in than half-assed, right? Anyway, step number 3 is to make it real through your action. And this is kind of me repeating what we said right here, just stacking the wins up, because belief grows every time you reinforce it. In politics, when you're voting for the president or congressman or woman or representative, like these ballots are getting placed in. Like there's so many different votes, and you got to tally the votes up. And I want you to begin looking at your actions as votes for the person that you got to be in order to achieve greatness, right? You have to continue placing votes for this person. So if you do the 30 crunches, like, yeah, you just placed a vote for I'm down 25 pounds, and then you ate Cheeto dust and you just watched Love Island for 2 hours, you casted two negative votes. So it's like for every step you take two backwards, right? You're never going to reach your goal like that. So make sure that you are casting way more votes for the person that you got to be, and do it through your actions. If you have a bias to action like myself, stack as many wins as you can. Keep stacking them joints, stacking them, because the only thing that can happen is you can move forward. That's it. That's, to be real with you, that's how I got here. Physically, like in my fitness, I was always somewhat fit. I ran track, and when track ended, I was just like chubby. I had no definition. I would hit the gym, I would still run all the time, but I just had a freaking chubby midsection. And I kept casting the votes for the person I wanted to be, and eventually I stumbled across a way of eating that would go on to change my life forever. That way of eating was actually a diet by Tim Ferriss called the 4 Hour Body. I don't want to like take too much time on this, but I ate beans, greens, and proteins for 7 straight days. So no carbs, no fruits, no juice, no sugar or anything. Just beans, greens, and proteins. And I did this for 10 days. So 7 straight days eating like that. And then I broke my diet. You're supposed to spike the sugar, and basically it just like tricks your body into burning extra fat. Then you go back to beans, greens, and proteins. So I did this for 10 days, and I lost 14 pounds that, 3 years later, 3 years later, I haven't put those 14 pounds back on. I just ate right before shooting this video, and check your boy out. That's just who I am, because I casted votes constantly. I don't attribute my success physically to beans, greens, and proteins. I attribute it to all of the times that I was casting votes prior to, because I would have never came across this diet situation if I hadn't tried 100 other things before. So you got to be patient with your goals and be patient with the person that you're becoming. That was a whole lot, but I hope you get, where we're going with this one. Make sure you're scheduling your actions like an appointment. You should always have some sort of planner. Mine is right here. You should always have a planner, because if you don't plan your day, it's going to plan your ass, and that's not what you want. So step number 4 is obvious. All of this is stuff that you know already. Maintain disciplined activity to see it through. And it's okay if your goal shifts. So maybe instead of losing 25 pounds, you realize, like, I don't really want to lose 25 pounds. I want to recompose my body. And it's like, oh, bet, okay. You can, like, your goals are supposed to change. Your North Star is supposed to become clearer and more defined the closer you get. That's why when you have a telescope and you're looking through the thing, you can like twist it, and it focuses in, and you can see the craters on the moon and stuff. The closer you get to your goal, the more defined it's going to be, because the initial North Star, the initial light that you saw, it was farther away, and you hadn't casted those votes. Casting those votes, it allows for the goal to mature. And now, instead of losing 25 pounds, it's recomposing, so that you get rid of the gut and you bulk up your chest if you're a guy. Or if you're a girl, you get the nice legs and butt. Like, maybe that's what it is, right? But you wouldn't know unless you casted enough votes to get there. So you got to make sure that you're reviewing the results that you're getting, and create a system, a system for action and a system for accountability. Ask someone to be your accountability partner. Say, hey, every week on Sunday at 8 o'clock, I'm going to check in with you. Or I just created a private Instagram page and I'm giving you the password. Check in on my progress every single week. Shit like that. Things that are going to keep you on it, because the life makes sure that if you're going to get something, it's what you truly wanted. That's why you got so many people chasing their tails and they haven't made anything of themselves, because they don't really want it. Once again, making sure that we're planning for obstacles. One thing I hate being is freaking surprised. Don't surprise me with some fucking hardship. Like, it's tough. I don't want to be surprised with hardship, because when you are, we like, I have a 1-year-old son and he likes his little blanket. That's like his version of a pacifier. We don't lose that. When we go through hardship, we still want to hug. We still need to cope. And if we're unprepared for the hardship and haven't prepared for, that stuff, like, we're going to cope with, what our lower self would cope with. And that's what prevents us from getting results. So, yeah. Plan for your obstacles, celebrate your milestones as often as possible. And that's the simple 4-step process to achieving any goal that you want. A big takeaway from this for me, understanding that as you get closer to your goal, it's going to mature and it's going to develop, and it's not going to look like what it initially looked like when you first set the goal. And that's okay. Life is supposed to be you coloring outside of the lines. It's not supposed to be neat. If you are a neat freak, I'm so sorry. Especially if your goal is really worth like going after, you got to be willing to look a little bit foolish from time to time. But that's when you reinforce yourself with a great circle. That's what the Lionheart Challenge is meant to be. It's meant to, have you thinking about things like this, have you surrounded by like minds just like this, and eventually your dreams will become reality. And I'm a living testament to it. So I wish you the best. Once again, tomorrow we're going to be chopping it up about identity-based habits, because if you take on identity-based habits, you don't really worry about the surface level of anything, right? So you take your goals and you essentially look at them as, who do I have to be? And you literally cast the votes for that person. You cast the votes, cast the votes, cast the votes. And the goal literally does the work for you. It works for you because you worked on you. Jim Rohn said it, and I'm going to end you with this quote, because I do be preaching sometimes. I'm a preacher. Jim Rohn, the great Jim Rohn, said back in the day, he said his mentor, Dr. Shoaff, told him, work harder on yourself than you do on your job, and your life will never be the same. I take that personally. Think about who you got to be that person, and say no to everything else aggressively, and your life is never going to be the same. I'm Lionheart Chris, and I will see you tomorrow for our workout, and then tomorrow evening for our next video call. Tap in.